Love baked potatoes, you are going to love this soup. It's from Outback Steakhouse. It's their creamy, loaded baked potato soup, and everybody loves it, raves about it, and searches for the recipe. I have it for you today. It is refined. We've been talking about this for a while over at chefpablos.com, and we've got this thing just about perfect. Best part is it's real easy to make. But first, if you're watching this on YouTube, you're going to see a little thumbs up button down here. Just hit that if you like the video. Hit the thumbs up button. If you want to be notified whenever I've got a new recipe out, then you hit the subscribe button. It's right above me, real easy. If you're not watching this on YouTube, maybe you're on chefpablos.com, there's a little button here that says YouTube. When you click on that, it'll take you over to YouTube. That way you can subscribe and keep up to date. All right, we're ready to make this. I'm going to show you what I did to prep for this. It was real easy. 4 potatoes, and I baked them, not boiled them. Baked them with the skin on, no aluminum foil. That's a steamed potato. You want to just rub them with some oil, vegetable oil, olive oil, butter if you want, and then sprinkle some kosher salt on if you have it. Otherwise, regular salt will do. And then bake it in the oven for 60 minutes at 350 degrees right on the rack. Don't put a cookie sheet down. You're going to want to pierce it a little bit first to let some steam out. But that's all we did, and then I let them cool a little bit. Cut them up into bite-sized little pieces. I also did about 4 pieces of bacon, and I chopped that all up. I also saved the fat from the bacon because we're going to combine it with our butter just to give it a little bit more bacon flavor when we cook this. The other thing we did to prep this was just chopped up some chives and diced up 1 onion. That's about it. All right, looks like we're ready to go. We're going to go over to the stove, and we're going to start making the Outback Steakhouse creamy baked potato soup. All right, real simple. Over a low to medium heat, add in the 2 sticks of butter, a lot of butter. Here we go, 2 sticks of butter. I'm also going to put in the bacon grease that's left over. Just going to add that in just to add some extra flavor. Whatever you have left over from doing the bacon for the garnish. So go ahead and add that. And then melt this. Once you get the butter melted completely, you're going to want to bring it up to a temperature because you're going to cook the onions in it. So be careful not to burn the butter, though. So be careful if you want to raise the heat. You're getting a little impatient like I am. Raised it up a little bit to medium heat. Get a little bit hotter, and then we'll add in our onions. Okay, I'm starting to hear the butter sizzle now, and so I'm going to add in the onions. That's 1 onion. This is a medium-sized onion. Just diced it up. Add that in. Start to cook those until they get translucent. Probably the best way to describe it. Take you about 5 minutes maybe, depending on how hot you have it. If they start to get brown around the edges, turn the heat down. You don't want it to get to that point. You just want these to be softened and translucent. So it's been about 7-8 minutes now, and it looks like the onions are about ready. Not quite translucent, but they're softened up nicely, and we're ready to add in the flour and make what's called a roux. So we're going to slowly add in this flour. 3/4 of a cup all-purpose flour. Start to mix it in. If you add it too quickly, it'll lump on you. You don't want that. Okay. And then continue to cook this. This is what makes the roux. It's not just combining the butter and the flour, the onions. It's actually cooking it like this and cooking the flour in the butter. All right, now we're going to add in about 48 ounces. I just have a big container of chicken stock. I have 48 ounces of this. All right, And then what we're going to do is add in the water, but first I'm going to turn this up a little bit because we are going to want to bring this to a boil. If you've ever tried to make a thick sauce like this with the flour mixed in with some oil or butter and it didn't thicken for you, it's because you didn't bring it to a boil. You got to bring it to a boil. That's when it thickens it up, and then you can turn it down to a simmer. So we're going to turn the heat up a little bit. As soon as you do that, don't walk away. That's how you get burnt soup. All right, we're going to add in 2 cups of water. Okay, right now we're also going to add in a little bit of sugar, just a tiny bit. Go easy on that. You can always add more later. Just brings out some of the flavors. Also got a little bit of basil. Throw that in. I call for a celery salt. I didn't have any celery salt, so I'm going to use a little bit of celery seed. A little bit of ground salt. Just guesstimating this. You can always add this later. Go under. It's hard to reduce if you go over. And some ground black pepper, just a little bit. Then we want to bring this to a boil. All right, now you can see this has come to a boil. You want to really be careful at this point. Keep stirring this. Make sure that it doesn't stick to the bottom. Make sure it doesn't burn. And we're going to slowly add in our heavy cream. Just add that in a little bit at a time. About 1.5 cups of heavy cream. You can add it to the consistency that you like. Some people have tried it with milk, not quite the same. Even whole milk, not going to be the same. So now we've just added that cream that was a little cool, so it stopped boiling. I'm going to make sure that we get that back up to a boil. You can start to see it rolling along, just starting to boil. Probably about all we need for this. We don't need to cook it too long at this point. What we're going to do next is we're going to add in the potatoes. This makes a lot of soup, and I've come to the realization that if I add all the potatoes I cut up, it's probably going to be overflowing. So we're going to add those a little bit at a time. We're also going to turn this down to about a medium heat. And then we just want to cook the potatoes. So we're going to add in these potatoes. Doing this slowly because, as I said, it's pretty full. I added about 4 big baking potatoes. These were a little bit of bacon. Put that on. Spread it around. Oh, everything's better with bacon. And a little bit of Colby Jack cheese, melt that on top. Gonna be delicious. Some sour cream if you like that, right on top, just a little bit. Okay, a little bit more. And then fresh from the garden, some chives. I'm just gonna sprinkle on top. There you have it. There it is. Delicious. Oh, I can't wait. We get a big chunk. Oh, it's very hot. Bowl's very hot. Big chunk of potato. Hopefully some bacon in there. Very hot. Oh. Man, if you love baked potatoes, you are going to love this. Remember, if you like the video, like it. There's a little thumbs up button. Like the video. Or subscribe to my videos up top. If you're not watching this on YouTube, maybe you're on chefpablos.com, you can click on the little YouTube button and that'll take you over to YouTube so you can subscribe. Thank you so much. If you want to print out the recipe, you can do that at chefpablos.com. That's chefpablos with an S at the end, .com. Thanks.